What's going on? What's going on? This is questions that I hate, but I gotta be honest. I was asked Buffalo Bills 1992 runner up against the New England Patriots 2012 runner up. Who wins? And I gotta be honest. The Bills' K gun offense was incredible that year, but I remember Frank Reich came back. Frank Reich came in for the injury, the comeback game. That was against Houston, that crazy win. It was crazy. But the defense wasn't as good. And we got manhandled by Washington in that Super Bowl. Mark Rippon became the third different quarterback to win a Super Bowl for Joe Gibbs in Washington, which pre free agency and everything that you see now with the NFL, Joe Gibbs is what they did in Washington was quite remarkable to win chips with three different Theismann to Doug Williams to Ripken. And he went to 4 Super Bowls, so Joe Gibbs had quite been underappreciated, but that's another story, another video. As far as the Bills, of the 4 Super Bowls, I think that Washington was probably the least overall talented, but they were the most physical. Beat the brakes off of Bills. It wasn't close. The Giants one was the peak prime, and then the 2 turnover happy ones against Dallas, the last two. But that Washington one was the most physical. And sometimes you just look at that and think, hey, if you go against a team that plays physical football and can limit you, and that's what Bill Belichick, and once I get to that in just a second, that would have been an Achilles for what Marv Levy and what the Bills were doing. Because Washington pretty much was what they did, and that was a physical game. And Ripken's style, which was a tier 2 below Tom Brady's, obviously a couple tiers below overall, but it's same pattern. And, you control the line, you get physical, you can control the tempo. So that is one of the problems of looking at the two. That would be a problem. Patriots, that team, the follow rematch against the Giants, the shocker in 2008. Then they come back, 2012 rematch. But very similar, same thing, except the Giants won at the end, just like they did the last one, so even more at the end with this one. But there was that play in the third quarter. Wes Walker couldn't bring that ball, and Brady hit that bomb. He makes that play. That might be the difference in the game. That must pretty much the difference in the game. Even Brady's ex-wife, Gisele Bundchen, kind of made some remark about you got to catch that one. He catches that ball, they at least get a field goal out of it. That's a different ball game. I'm just saying. Because they were up 17-9. They were up. Now, but Michael Strahan had the final say. But it was a physical game, very evenly matched. Comes down, and Eli Manning, like I said, you ever seen the movie Let's Do It Again, Bootney Farnsworth under hypnosis? He's something else in the postseason. Regular season, he's ready to get benched. You get ready to you're fit to be tied. But in the postseason, he come alive. There's a few guys like that. They get Robert Ory syndrome. I used to say Santonio Holmes syndrome, James Posey. There's certain guys that you just know in the postseason. It's like, oh man, you don't want to have to deal with those guys. They are problematic. But anyway, who would win? If I'm honest and I take my bias hat off and I'm being honest, I think New England would win because of the physicality. I think the Bills' defense, that was one of the worst of their defenses at that time. And if Brady's poised and we don't get him loose early, get at him early, that's a problem. That could have been a long day. Because that's our biggest problem when I look back at it in hindsight. Our defense and then turnovers, and then we got beat getting out physical. And that was one of the problems right there. That was the difference really right there. Especially those last 3 Super Bowls, but especially that one against Washington. So New England was a more physical team in 2012. But it's a good battle of the runner-up Super Bowl teams who would have won if they had faced each other. Because Thurman Thomas didn't have his best game. Remember, that's the game he lost. He was having a problem with his helmet, and Jim Kelly got physically harassed by Washington's defense. New England's defense was good, too, at that time. So, but interestingly, both teams had 13-3 records. So it would have been an interesting story. But anyway, bittersweet to have to address that. But I think the Patriots, Adam Vinatieri probably kicks a couple field goals, the differential. I think it's a 6 to 10 point difference. I think New England would have been a better. That would not have been the best one for us to have faced of that if I was going future from 20 years apart. Please like, subscribe, welcome thoughts, comments, and I do respond. Thank you. Wash your hands, keep your mind clear, watch out for another. Share the video if you like. Stay safe, stay blessed, stay woke, stay free. I'm out one time. Peace.